Welcome back to Can We Fix It? I know it's not Friday, but I think after the anxiety and stress of yesterday, we all deserve a little treat. The sun is shining. My skin is smooth and clear. I woke up with more muscle tone. And that is because I spent the evening drinking the tears of my vanquished foes. For those of you who don't yet know, it appears as though the Speaker of the House, Nicholas Mattiello, has lost his re-election race. So sad. Big ups Cranston, the real MVP here. I guess you guys are more than golf courses and casual racism. I'm cool with eating those words. Big ups Rhode Island, where 60+% of eligible voters turned out to the polls. We broke a record. So I'm really proud of us. Credit where it's due. The youth have been tirelessly organizing on behalf of their given issues. Sunrise RI, Climate Action, BLM, Youth Pride. They've all done a lot of really important organizing work during the course of these campaigns. The kids are all right. And while some of them can't even vote yet, they're making sure that their voices are heard. So that's really important. Also, huge congratulations to friend of the pod and my honorary little bro, Jason motherfucking Royus, who was a key member of the Fenton Fung staff. Progressives, don't fucking at me. He did more to move the state forward by working for that one Republican than 90% of your progressive heroes did. It was a smart political move and it paid off. So, congratulations, Jason. You took down the speaker. I could not be prouder. Also, quick reminder that not only is Jason my campaign manager and friend, he's also my neighbor because District 3 gets done, baby. This is a bittersweet loss for me because, first of all, it renders my last episode entirely irrelevant. Nobody with a brain is going to hire any of the clowns that worked for Mattiello. Goodbye forever, Leo Skenyon. Oh, that's really exciting. And also because I've spent the last 5 years shit talking the speaker. It's 90% of this show was me shit talking Nicholas the Dick Mattiello. I don't feel like I've lost my purpose. I'm just kidding. Your government is faulty and defective, and I'm sure that I will have plenty left to discuss in the coming weeks and months. That being said, this is really the last time that I get to smack talk the speaker, because now I'm just making fun of an old man from Cranston. That's punching down. We don't do that here at Can We Fix It? We punch up. So in honor of Nicholas's final curtain, I'm going to go ahead and share my two favorite personal experiences with Nick Mattiello. So first of all, being a freshman at the State House is very much like being a freshman in high school. It's very awkward and uncomfortable, and you have no idea what you're doing. You're just kind of winging it. I'm of the fake it till you make it mentality, so I don't ever want them to see me sweat. And I try to project confidence even when I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So the first couple of weeks of session, I couldn't get into the employee parking lot. They give you this little pass, you wave it in front of the security thing, and the security arm is supposed to go up. And it wasn't working for me. I assumed it was a user error. So I used to park over by the Providence Place Mall and walk to the State House. I walk through the front door, go through the metal detector, whole nine, just like a regular person. And it wasn't until day 3 or 4 that one of the Capitol Police was like, "Rep, no, you have your own entrance. You don't have to go through no." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And there was one day I was running late and I finally had to, I went up to the arm, I hit the call button and I asked a Capitol Police officer, I was like, "Hey, it's Representative Walsh and my pass won't work. Will you come let me in?" And when he got there, he said, do you think they were hazing you by turning your pass off? And I was like, I don't know. If so, it really worked because I've been walking in high heels 3 blocks to get to work every day. It's fine. It's fine. So, my second week up at the State House, the speaker called me up to his office and I was already in trouble at that point. I had already turned down a donation from him, which is apparently frowned upon. I had already voted the wrong way on a couple of bills without asking permission, which is apparently a rule. So I was already in the doghouse. But I had been doing this thing that I called Sarah Palining, where as a young woman, they assume that I'm incompetent. So I let them assume that, right? I let them assume that I, had no idea what was going on. And then plus it was more fun when I was like, coherent and making valid arguments. And, you would see them be like, I thought her fallopian tubes impacted her ability to form a cogent thought. Women are confusing. Um, but so I get called to the speaker's office, and it's not just him, it's like 4 of his minions. So it's like designed to intimidate me because I'm outnumbered. It worked. And the speaker says, you're smarter than you say you are. And I was like, the jig is up. They know. And he says, or rather, you're smarter than you pretend to be. And I was like, well, I'm very glad that it's coming off that way because I only learned how to get into the employee parking lot yesterday. So I'm glad that I'm exuding confidence when in reality, I have no idea what's going on here. And it was very interesting because the subtext of that conversation was like much deeper, and we were really feeling each other out for what kind of relationship we were going to have. Spoiler alert, it was a contentious one. But this brings me to my very favorite story of the speaker, and this was my very first impression of him. He took me out to lunch after I won my primary because I didn't have a general, and we talked about various things, the campaign, my policies, things like that. And I mentioned that my son's dad is a Cumberland police officer. And the speaker was asking me, how he enjoyed it. And I said, he's a little disappointed. He thought he was going to be making a bigger difference than he is. So like he'll go and, arrest a man for beating his wife. And then the very next weekend, he's at the same apartment arresting the same man for beating his wife. And it feels, really futile at times. And the speaker said, yeah, no, I can understand that. That's really disappointing. I think we have a lot of resources for domestic violence victims in this state, but I think that we need to have more resources for domestic violence abusers because there's obviously something very wrong with them. All right, like I'm with you so far. But then he follows it up. But I don't think that every man who hits his wife is a domestic abuser. I think sometimes maybe they've been together for a long time. They're just going through a rough patch. Maybe he had a bad day at work and it's just a one-off and it only happens one time. Why you would say that in general is beyond me. Why you would say that to a fucking stranger? Like, bitch, I don't know you. Do you really want this to be your first impression? Also, this isn't hearsay because I was there. If you didn't want me to tell it, you probably should have behaved better. But yeah, this is officially the last time that I'm going to be, shit talking the speaker. Of course, this video comes with a couple of asks. Number one, if you are still watching these for free, fucking why? My son happens to really like this apartment, and I would like to get a camera that doesn't make me look Crypt Keeper years old. So help a sister out. Patreon.com/canwefixit. Also, email and call your representatives and tell them to vote for Lyanna Kassar. A Speaker Shikarchi, as we previously discussed, would not be any better than a Speaker Mattiello. First of all, why you would pick Mattiello's right-hand man, like the stink isn't on him too. He allowed, he sat by complicit while all this corruption took place. Second of all, that guy has way too much fucking money in his bank account. Like, he has to owe some favors for those kind of donations. He has more money than the fucking Senate president. Like, that's suspicious as all hell. Third of all, he was too cowardly to put his name in the race before Nick Mattiello lost. Like, you don't get any points for spinelessness from me. Absolutely not. I'm going to be calling and emailing my representative, Nathan Bia, and urging him to vote for Lyanna because she is what this state needs to move forward and get things done. And I'm going to be calling and emailing my senator, Mary Ellen Goodwin, and asking her to vote for Senator Gail Golden, head bitch in charge, who absolutely will whip that room into shape. So as a former representative, I can tell you that calls and emails work. We would sit around and be like, yo, I got 100 emails on this issue. People really care about this. Or you'd be like, yo, I didn't get any calls. Like, nobody gives a shit. I can vote however I want. So remember that at the end of the day, we are these people's bosses. And as such, we need to be checking in on our employees and making sure that they're doing what we sent them there to do. So thank you guys. Be sure to like and share this video. Stay safe, wash your fucking hands, and go be a good neighbor.